Those types of strikers, I'm never that scared of them.
But you're saying you would never be scared of going up against Wando. In 2012, I was scared shitless of going up against Wando.
That's the only season he broke 20 goals. Just so you're aware, it's the only season he broke 20 was in 2012. Dude, the drop off from that season to any other season he had in history, fine. We want to bank it off of one great season he had in his history, but he never broke 20 goals after that, like ever. The closest he ever got was 18, and it was a couple seasons before then. Like, I don't know, man. Wando to me is like, he's got the longevity. He's been performing okay for a long enough period of time, but there are plenty of players, arguably almost every player on this list, that I would take over Chris Wondolowski. Boys, today we are talking top 10 strikers in MLS history. This is by far, outside of the underrated list, which I'm going to put that aside because I think all of us have very different definitions of what underrated really means. We have 11 honorable mentions in this top 10 today. Everybody has a striker that they like. There's a lot of consensus toward the top, but I still think there's some picks in here that are pretty fucking wild, pretty outlandish. We'll dig into it. I want to jump right into number 10 and see how you guys feel about this. This is one of those wild picks that I still don't know how this guy really popped up. If we're talking about longevity, if we're talking about number of goals scored, if we're talking about just impact in the league, he made it pretty high on somebody's list, and that's why he's in here. I want to see how the rest of the boys feel about it. So let's jump right in. Number 10. Obafemi Martins. Obafemi, is that how you say it, Xiaoyan?
Who is
Obafemi
this? I wonder.
That was the greatest reaction. Who is this? Obafemi Martins, the whole 3 seasons that he played in Seattle, Xiaoyan, why does he deserve a place in the top 10 strikers of MLS history?
I totally understand why. I totally understand if you guys disagree with me. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I'm going to be honest. I don't blame you.
I blame you. I blame you. This is a terrible pick. All right. I'm going to say that right now. This is a terrible pick.
Hey, you guys can roast you as much as you want, but just let me cook for a second.
Okay.
Obviously, we all know why AJ doesn't like him. As an Arsenal fan, Obafemi Martins brings back some of the worst memories of his life when he scored in, I believe, the Carabao Capital One Cup final, whatever it was called.
Not worst memories, but anyway.
Yeah, but for me, I've been watching MLS since like 2012, 13. That's when I started. And for me, there's no striker that had the sauce that Obafemi Martins had. I mean, when like he's the prime streets will never forget player in MLS.
That's true.
Some of his goals, the assists, I think he is. For me, he's the greatest striker I've ever seen play. Obviously, stats-wise, he was still really good, though. Like, stats-wise, he was still really good. But obviously, never sadly, he was close to winning an MVP award in 2014, was a part of arguably one of the greatest partnerships in MLS history with Clint Dempsey. And I'd argue Obafemi Martins was more important to that partnership than Dempsey was. And he was close to winning a treble. I know, again, I totally understand if you disagree, but for me, outside of if you consider Giovinco a striker and Obafemi Martins, those 2 players were always a cloth above everyone else when I watched them play in MLS as forwards.
I agree with the last part you just said to an extent. Like in an individual season, I feel about Obafemi Martins as I'm not going to compare him to that player. I think, look, 17 goals in his best season, 2014. We bowed out. FC Dallas bowed out to the Sounders that year in the semifinals of the Western Conference playoffs. And I remember how good he was. It's just, bro, he doesn't even break the century mark in terms of appearances in MLS. In fact, I would say with everybody on this list, he probably is the lowest. Longevity is kind of a big thing when you talk about greatest ever in any league. To an extent, like you have to have that sample size.
This pick is very outlandish, and I understand, but I'm saying as in regards to a player that I've watched as a forward that was just such different gravy in like the ability, the way he can score goals anywhere on the field. I mean, one prime one is if you guys look back at the goal he scored against Colorado Rapids, 2 defenders on him, just as a one-time back heel in the air, he's through on goal. Like I just don't.
That was one of the goals of the season that year. I remember that.
Yeah, and he scored. That wasn't, funnily enough, that wasn't the goal of the season. He scored the goal of the season when chipping Bush from like no angle and then scoring. But like, it's like his goals just are always in every MLS comp, especially in that time frame.
Let me ask you something really quick, because there's a modern comparison that I think we should be looking at, and we're not talking about right now. You compare Obafemi Martins And I think Sounders fans, I'd love to hear you guys in the comments, see what you think, because for me, I think the impact is not too dissimilar from what Driussi's doing in Austin. You look at that comparison, right? 3 seasons, almost identical in terms of how long they were in the league and trying to do something for their team. I think overall impact, Martins, you could say probably has the accolades, won a little bit more, was more threatening with Seattle, maybe because Driussi's best year, really stats-wise even, like takes up more than 75% of what he's done in Major League Soccer. I don't know who are you taking, Adnan? You take Sebastian Driussi, you're taking Obafemi Martins.
I'm gonna take Driussi Dior all day, bro.
That's crazy. He's gonna take a guy that's never lifted a trophy at Austin. Wild.
And he still will probably be more known than the gentleman that you listed. I mean,
That's
guy,
crazy.
Dude. Poor guy. He did not deserve what you're putting him through tonight here, bro. That's on you, Shia.
Obafemi Martins is I'll stick up for him.
He almost won an MVP award in 2014, and that's the same exact.
Driussi. So did Sebastian.
Yeah, I know. So I'm saying same thing as Driussi. So it's like they're not that. And the thing
Driussi had a better season that year. Driussi had 5 or 6 more goals than Martins.
But the difference between Martins and Driussi is Martins was a key figure in a complete team. It was literally Driussi and 10 other men.
Wrong.
I don't know about that, Austin. That's like Austin this season. I don't know if that was Austin last year.
Fagundes was up there with
who was second in scoring in Austin last year, and then
Driussi. Fagundes, sorry.
And how far behind Driussi was he?
It was a
very
margin.
behind.
Yeah.
Fagundes' contributions were in the assist department. He was at 15.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah.
That's a good number.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's an interesting comparison, and I will say Obafemi Martins kind of feels a little bit like Driussi in that he's kind of a second striker. I wouldn't consider him an out and out 9. Like he's not someone that you could have stand up against. The
I think he can. I think some.
He's kind of a smaller.
No. I'm gonna disagree. The games where
5'7".
Dempsey was.
Who is he standing up?
It doesn't matter. I don't care, dude. Look back at some of his goals. He scored. Actually, he scored a really great header against your FC Dallas from around the penalty spot.
How many header goals did he score? Go ahead, tell me. How many header goals did he score?
Maybe like 5 to 6.
What are we talking about then, bro? I mean, 5 or 6 out of the 40 goals he scored in MLS.
Dude, he still can score. The thing is, I'd argue he's still even good as a lone striker. When Dempsey was hurt, Oba still carried this team.
I'm trying to find the logic, Chow, and I can't, brother. I mean, like again, to me, second striker, very similar to Driussi because of his speed, his agility, his ability to bounce off of a holding striker.
Help him, but he still can be an individual striker. I'm not saying that's totally false. He can be. He was a really great individual striker for us as well.
Only one doing it at 5'7". Okay. Look, Obafemi Martins, number 10, not the craziest shout based on like pound for pound within 2 to 3 seasons, like pretty damn good. I just don't know if you can put him in, above the likes of, I don't know, Brian Ching, Brian McBride, David Villa,
Zardes.
I mean, do you think Rui Diaz is less of a striker or less effective of a striker than Obafemi Martins?
The reason I have Obafemi Martins on my list, the thing is this one just purely for me is he's just the best striker I've ever seen play in ML. Just like in regards to skill, it's nothing to do with stats. Just like
eye test. He's the best, like the most skilled striker you've ever seen.
Yes.
That's a shout.
That's a wild take, by the way.
Yeah.
Wild take. But
so
okay.
this list is the best MLS strikers of all time.
And for me, I think he is I think he was always a cloth above every striker we're gonna mention. Like, dude, when you just look back at all
of pretty good.
Cheyenne, I love you, bro, but this is not your favorite striker of all time list. It's the best MLS strikers of all
for
time.
the eye test. For me in MLS, he was a cloth above at most strikers I've seen. As I mentioned, him and Giovinco, I just thought were sensational. Every time they touched the ball, I knew they were going to do something.
You gave us so much shit for Giovinco. I'm going to do the same thing for Obafemi Martins. Okay, so I think he's not a bad striker. The top 10 ever is like a. I mean, again, you're a Sounders fan, so it kind of makes sense, right? I actually think Rui Diaz has more of a shout on in terms of being anywhere in the honorable mentions.
Rui Diaz and Obafemi Martins, the difference between the two of them is Rui Diaz is a killer. Obafemi Martins brings joy when you watch him play.
So what do you need?
So what if you
Would rather have a
appreciate the
killer, or would you rather
ruthlessness
have
of
a
Ruiz
choice?
Diaz? I actually appreciate that. The fact that he fights for every ball, doesn't let anything go,
The
almost
only,
takes it
I
personal.
think
Doesn't let anything go,
the
almost
only,
takes it
I
personal.
think one thing that taints it for me is just kind of the drop off with Rui Diaz the past couple of years. Like Oba left on a high. Oba left as he was
That's
a part
fair.
of the team that almost won the treble. And for me, Rui Diaz, it's like a slow, painful death with Rui Diaz. Like he's injured again for the third time
That's
this
most
season.
of these
Like
players. It's most of these players that are on this list.
Ah, damn,
right?
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. They didn't go out on the ultimate high. We'll be nice about it. We'll put
and
it
I
that
think
way.
with Oba, just like, oh man, dude, that guy was just something else when I watched him play.
Let's leave it there. I think he was something else. I think it's the fact that he's on this list is kind of something else too. But bro, you know what? I like a good hot take. And to me, if you actually watched this striker play, I agree. I think he was very skilled. I think he paired really well with Dempsey.
Just watch his highlights. That's it.
Yeah. He's got some of the craziest goals MLS has ever seen. But I also factor longevity heavily into these arguments for like top
And
or
that's
best
fine.
ever.
I totally am
So-
fine with you guys disagreeing with me on this.
All right, number 9, and again, we're talking about, again, this list is best strikers, but with how much tactics have changed over the seasons, all right, this guy was on, of the 7 of us total that were polled, he was on 3 lists actually, which is why he makes his way in here. I don't consider him a forward. I consider him an attacking player, an attacking-minded player, but I don't consider him a forward. Some of us do. Number 9, Dwayne De Rosario.
Oh.
How
high into the all-time leading goal scorer list is he? He's like 6?
He's up there. Dwayne De Rosario is number 12, so not in the top 10. But again, for an attacking midfielder, which is what I consider him to be, I think that's Frankie Lampard status in terms of like Premier League, right? That's the comparisons that I draw. De Rosario, great for Houston, pretty good for Toronto. I don't remember how good he was for DC. All the way around, I like this pick. I just don't know if I personally would have included him on a strikers list. But with that said,
because there's some gray areas with some of these players.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the more attacking midfielders we've ever seen in the league. AJ had him the highest. AJ, why do you like him more than like, I don't know, maybe some guys stick up for like Carlos Vela, for example, who I would have considered to be a striker, but he's an attacker. Why is he better than a Vela or like a Jeff Cunningham or someone?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of, the position thing first, I don't think, anyone's saying Messi is not a striker. I mean, he's essentially, for all intents and purposes, he's a striker. I mean, so if we're going to go by that argument, and a forward, whichever, but, you rely on him for goals. And any of the teams that Dwayne De Rosario was on, they relied on him for goals. And if that's the case, I mean, you're wanting him to, be the striker. And so, in terms of any position, that's that argument. In terms of his goals tally, I mean, it's like super high for his position. I think it's, his ability to kind of will his teams to victory. And then, it's like those Houston teams, those Dynamo teams were incredible.
Insane.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. Like, he was the best player on those. I think it's he should have been in this list, not an honorable mention.
Yeah, I actually agree. I agree with some of the points you made there, bro. He scores every 240 minutes as an attacking midfielder, which is wild to me. 109 goals, 300 plus appearances. I mean, again, it's the only thing I'm a stickler about is the position, but overall, I agree with the sentiment around he was an attacking player, and that's what he contributed a lot with was scoring goals. Let's see, De Rosario, like I said, featured on 3 of our lists, but I didn't pick him. Ednan didn't pick him. John didn't pick him in terms of who's here today. John, bro, what other list did he feature in, by the way? I'm saying what other list did he feature? Was it the best players ever?
I think it was the best.
Or most underrated.
Yeah. Might have been underrated.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It might have been both, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
De Rosario, look, I don't mind the pick. I think it's not bad. A few of us had him in there, so a better shout than Obama V. Martins. Lot more longevity in this league too, man. 3 seasons compared to like, I don't know what it is, like 13 for Dwayne De Rosario. So far that Martins pick is looking a little shaky, Cheyenne, a little shaky. All right. Let's move right on. Number 8. I want to see how Cheyenne reacts to this one because I don't think you've ever had a positive opinion about this player on this show ever. Number 8. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Ibra.
I put him in at like 10, so it's not too bad.
I was surprised you included him in your list. I actually was. I don't know why. I just didn't expect you to give him the love at all. But he did feature in 4 of the 7 lists. Ednan probably had him the highest. Dude, Xiaoyan had him the lowest of anybody who included him. You know, kind of dead.
See, that's what's quite interesting to me. I'm getting roasted about Obafemi Martins, but one extra season where everyone was like, "Oh, but Ibra."
Who's a better striker, Xiaoyan? Right now, tell me, Ibrahimovic or Bonfi Martins?
They're both fucking retired. Who is better? They're both.
Who's a better striker? Who is a better striker? Who do you pick
in
for your 11?
MLS? When I watched him, okay. Well, all I'm gonna say is which player won more trophies? Oba did. Which player got closest to an MVP award?
Way better team. Way better.
Okay, at least let me finish before you say that. Who won trophies? Obafemi Martins. Who was the closest to winning an MVP award? Obafemi Martins. Which player just was very similarly to each other. We're getting in goals of the week, goals of the year candidates. We're just scoring banger after banger. But the difference for me with Oba and Ibra, he had some success. He was actually close to winning that individual award. Ibra never did, and he only played in the playoffs once.
That's fair. Look, that last shout is actually really good. But with that said, Zlatan did score 20 more goals than Bonfi Martins. And per minutes in terms of like minutes per goal, did it faster, right? Was scoring at a better rate with the worst team. So the team accolade stuff, all that stuff's great. It's a great argument for how good the Sounders were back then.
Because he was there. Sounders fans can admit, because as soon as Oba
also had Clint Dempsey.
Yeah, but again, I want to put this point out. As soon as Obafemi left in 2016, the drop-off was insane with our goals and like our attacking productivity. Taking out Oba and bringing in Jordan One Peg Morris to play with Dempsey was just a huge downgrade.
Yeah, but you could also argue Ibra also did carry that shitty LA team into the playoffs.
Wait, tell me, what did he carry him to? To one playoff appearance? Oh, that's
pretty crazy. Hey, without him, they would not have made the playoffs.
They would have sniffed
It's kind of crazy because they've actually made the playoffs. I think in those last 4 years, actually doubled the appearances since he left. So
yeah, you can argue that they had again better teams. I think name one notable playmaker Ibra had to deliver him the service he needed to score goals. Pavon.
Yeah, he's a playmaker.
No, stop, bro. You're just naming people on the roster.
You're not giving me like an
actual.
He's gonna put Dos Santos in there too. Watch.
Jonathan Dos Santos. I'm just saying he had players. You can't deny he didn't have players.
He didn't have Clint Dempsey feeding him the ball.
Dude,
Dempsey was not a bad option to have as a second striker. No, he was good,
but
team.
You guys could see but the thing is, every Sounders fan can admit it. If it was just Dempsey by himself, he was fucked. But if it was Oba by himself, he was totally fine. There was a difference. You could see the drop off. When Oba was by himself, he was fine. He was still great. But Dempsey needed Oba more than Oba needed Dempsey. That's all I'm gonna say.
Basically by himself was perfectly fine. Did you not remember his debut? Just don't even go that far. Just look at Zlatan's debut.
Dude, Galaxy the first on game. Paper. Okay, the Galaxy's team on paper is not bad. You guys cannot deny that.
They've seen way better seasons.
But again, on paper, their team was still good. It's not.
The team is serviceable.
It's not the Galaxy. It's not like we're talking.
We're not talking about a playoff contender right off the bat.
We're not talking about Ibrahimovic getting thrown into fucking Chivas USA. He got thrown into a pretty good LA Galaxy team, all because they suck. That's not like.
I don't know, man. I think Ibra, look, his goal tally, despite, in my opinion, having and I don't know if it's just my opinion. You probably could ask anybody.
I'm not saying Oba is better than Clint. I'm not saying Oba is better than Clint. It's just the fact I'm getting a lot more criticism when the picks are actually kind of similar. They are kind of similar.
I take Ibra over Martins all day, but
that's fine. And I agree. I think Ibra is above Martins, but the fact that there's not a far gaping class, in my opinion.
Yeah, in terms of longevity, which I preached on a little bit earlier, you're not terribly far. It's like 4 seasons to 3. But in those 4 seasons, Zlatan to me was more impactful, albeit for a very mediocre LA Galaxy side. So accolades wise, you can't really see it unless you watch the games. But I think he just has more to stand on.
On paper, the Galaxy team that Ibra was on was better than the team that the Sounders had in 2014 that won the supporters. On paper,
but also the age difference though too. The age difference between how old was Martins when he was playing with the Sounders?
They were both in their 30s. They were both in their 30s.
Let me check that. I just want because I'm just.
I just want to see the 2014 LA Galaxy and see what you see.
You mean 2014 Sounders?
No, I don't remember. I remember how good that Sounders team was. Like I said, I remember watching them at. I would say between 2012 and like 2015, Sounders were pretty damn unstoppable in the West. Like I remember bowing out to them back-to-back years in that time frame as an FC Dallas fan. That team was good. It was really good and very collectively sound as a unit. Like fundamentally, they were just a difficult team to beat.
But on paper, the team doesn't look that. There's nothing star-studded about their team outside of Dempsey and Martins. But when you look at the Galaxy teams Ibra played on, a lot more star-studded. You had Ashley Cole, Jonathan Dos Santos, Sebastian Lejec, Christian.
They're sexy. Some of these are sexier names, but they were at the tail end of their careers. I just don't.
Doesn't matter. They're still technically better players compared to what the Marco Papa, Gonzalo Pineda when he's down to one leg.
Dude, Ashley Cole didn't feature quite as many games as you think. I think and some of the best playmakers he had giving the ball were guys like Robbie Rogers. Tell me what Robbie Rogers is doing today.
I don't want to say on camera.
Oh my God. Anyway, we're not going down that path, bro. Like, holy shit. Anyway, I think, look, man, they have some sexy names. That's what the Galaxy was all about. They were more about selling kits and jerseys than they were about actually winning matches. And everybody knows
but
that.
I don't want
correction.
I just don't like. Okay, yeah.
Just to correct you, Obafemi Martins when he joined MLS was 28.
Oh, I was off by 2 years.
Hey, man, in football, that's a
it matters though. It matters.
It matters. And I think both arguably had great, European careers for the most part too. So the picks are close. I just don't know if there's nobody on this panel that picked, Martins over Ibra. That's all I'm going to say.
No, and I agree. I'm not picking Martins over Ibra. I'm just saying the gap is a lot closer than we think if we're going to put Ibra on here then my pick isn't that far-fetched then.
It's not far-fetched. I'll give you benefit of the doubt. All right, guys, we got to move on. Number 7, which this guy has been on a million fucking teams. He's come up a few times on this show, but no one's ever really made a great shout for him, which is kind of criminal considering that we have a Chicago Fire fan on the show today. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Number 7 is Kai Kamara.
Wow.
Kai Kamara.
This is low. This is low.
But
this is low.
So here's the thing. Kai Kamara has...
glad he finally made it on the list. I'm glad he finally made it on the list.
Only 3 people picked him.
Wow, shocker.
Both Xiaoyan and myself had Kai Kamara higher than the Chicago Fire fan did. So, John, why is Kai Kamara like? Where did you have him? Did you have him at 7 or 8?
I think I have like in between 7.
Wait, let's go back to why Hernan said shocker that he. Let's go back. What's your disrespect with Kai Kamara?
Why are you shocked by that?
It's kind
I was kidding on that.
All I'm gonna say is Kai Kamara. I think is more success than Austin probably will have in the next 10 years. Just him by himself.
He's also traveled to more teams than most players ever have. That's actually not a bad shout. I mean, considering where Austin is right now, Austin, how many days has it been? Since you guys won a game?
It's been 2 months.
So, but longer than that, right? I think it's actually like 70 days or close to it. Close to it. Yeah. I mean, that's right now. Not scoring is the least of their problems. But Kai Kamara is the only player in I don't know how many. I think he might be the only player in the top 50 MLS players in terms of scorers that has seen as many clubs as he had. 10 clubs, but he's 3rd all time. I can't really hate it. He's 3rd all time on the list. Why does he bounce around so much, John? What the fuck is it, bro? Is he just not that good? Does he flame out really fast?
He joined. I mean, you could say he's at the latter stage of his career now, but I feel like even when he did join us at the beginning, I was like, oh, we got this damn near 40-year-old striker coming to our club when we need a younger striker, which is what I was looking at, at the time. But I think as he started playing more for our team, I think you could see the genuine impact that he actually had. And I think a lot of clubs actually benefited from that impact too. I mean, you don't get to the amount of goals that he has without actually having and providing some sort of impact. So everyone can argue, maybe he hasn't stayed at clubs for a prolonged period of time, but the fact that you get 10 clubs that are interested in you, is you still got to be pretty good. So
True. I will say this. This is very interesting. A player that was left off of this list, who was an active striker for one of our clubs today, he scores at virtually the same, kind of rate, if you will, right? For every 225 minutes, this forward scores basically at the same rate as Kamara, which is Giassi Zardes. They're both aging forwards. Right. If you're, I don't know. Ednan, you could think about this too. I mean, John, you could think about this. I'd love somebody's, take here based on not prime, but just current form right now. Who are you taking? Kai Kamara or Giassi Zardes?
I'm keeping Kai. Keeping Kai.
Current form right now?
Or just in general, right? Because to me, they're both aging forwards. I don't watch them enough to be like.
This is actually a good comparison.
It is. It's a decent comparison.
They're very similar players.
Yeah.
I'll take Giassi.
Oh God!
I love his boy. Listen. I'll argue this. I've in the years that I have following the fight, I've never seen a striker from us fight for as many balls as Kai Kamara has at his age. It is crazy because we grabbed Shabilko off of the Union, right, a couple seasons ago, and Shabilko was touted to be the striker that was supposed to help our striker problems. He was supposed to, he scored a lot of goals for the Union. He was supposed to come in, genuinely fix our scoring issues. Never really happened. Never really materialized. Never has taken off. I can argue with you because I've seen him so many times in person. How many times should Shabilko be walking around that pitch and it pisses me off? Kai Kamara, like the short amount of times that I've gotten to see Kai Kamara play for the Fire, he's come on and he's looked way different. He's looked like 10 years younger than what Shabilko is. Shabilko should be playing with the level amount of energy that Kai Kamara plays. And it's crazy that at his age, he's still able to provide that sort of that mentality of like still wanting to actually get there, get to chase every ball. I don't know how much Giassi Zardes still does that.
He's the oldest striker, right? Actively in MLS right now. 39?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with John. I think at that age, you don't expect strikers to be actually active and contributing to an attack, but and being pace changers, right? You change the tempo of how a match is played. And I had 39 anyway. But it's just an interesting like I'm curious for Xiaoyan and AJ's takes here. Because we got the Fire and the Austin fan, right? But I think Giassi, Kai Kamara, remove age. I think they're very similar builds, very similar playing styles. Which one do you take?
I have a question. If Kai Kamara, just to spin it, if Kai Kamara wasn't from Sierra Leone and he represented the U.S. men's national team, would the perspective be any different?
Probably.
Oh, he'd be so hyped. I mean, his 30s would have been like he deserves every USMNT call up, and I mean, dude, Giassi got how many call ups for the national team? Yeah. And I always thought in my opinion, I never thought he really deserved it. I don't really like Giassi Zardes. I think he's okay.
I think he's fine.
He was overhyped when he was coming out. I
think his touch for me as a striker is terrible. I think his first touch is dog shit. I think like it's like I don't know, man. It's like he's a kid kicking it down the hallway playing rec soccer for the first time in school.
But it helped a lot.
I don't know how to feel about Giassi's touch.
For Giassi, it helped him a lot that he was with that 2014 Galaxy team. So he really got like a good jump start, like winning an MLS Cup, being a part of a championship team. For me, I know Jose doesn't like this, but I do like that he's played at like a bunch of different clubs and he's been pretty successful for the most part at all of them. And I like that.
Kai or
Kai.
Yeah. I just think sometimes when you bounce around that much, it's got to be for a reason. Like it.
I know when he left Columbus, I knew he fell out with them. I just don't know. Obviously, there's 10 reasons. Like what Kai Kamara could make his 13 Reasons Why version, except with 10 reasons why I left XXXXX club. It could be a whole documentary, honestly.
Truthfully, I know the reason why we actually grabbed him was because he was having problems at Montreal too. That's why he ended up leaving. So I don't know if this is a trend because I haven't really looked into every individual situation of every club he's been at. But I think that was the reason why we ended up grabbing him. But I thought
it's like Jose Mourinho. Come season 2 or 3, I'm out, baby.
Yeah, I need to show a little bit more respect to Giassi. I mean, he's 115 goals, MLS Cup champion. I mean, I think
he's 11th all time, and that's
Cheyenne is being a bit disrespectful to Jazzy Zardes, but what else is new?
I don't think, but I don't think it's disrespect, and I'm gonna back him on this though. I don't think it's disrespect because I think it does definitely help if you have a Galaxy team that is way better around you. You're obviously gonna look a lot better than what you really are. He went to Columbus. What did he really fucking achieve in Columbus? He didn't really do much.
And then Austin got debated, in my opinion. For me, I had no idea why Austin picked him up. I was like, dude, this is not the forward you guys need at all.
If anything, Will Bruin's been better than
he was the MLS Cup champ there. Columbus.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
he was.
Yeah,
he was, but
that, I mean, but
how much did
it
he
wasn't
really
because of him.
It wasn't because of him. I guarantee you that.
I just said he was the MLS Cup champ.
I mean, it's fair. Again,
dude,
some
we could
people
have thrown AJ
Giassi.
in that Galaxy team. He would have won an MLS.
Okay, bro.
I know, right?
Whoa.
Yeah,
Giassi's
it's
still
fair, man.
11th all time. Like that, you have to put a little bit of respect on that. He does somehow find a way to score gols. All I'm saying is, if I'm building my team off of the eye test, Giassi Zardes doesn't even touch my bench. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think he has the skill set, in my opinion, to be an elite forward, but he has the goals. I mean, let me ask you this. Could he have done this in the Eredivisie? Could he have done this in Turkey or Portugal?
Didn't Kai also play in
Greece?
Europe at least for a period of time?
He did.
I think, man,
Yeah,
very
I'm pretty
minimal.
sure he
But
did.
yeah. Most of his time
briefly.
I'm just gonna say this: it's a little poor when you're 32 years old and just have one more goal than the 39-year-old. By the way,
that's fair. Yeah,
that's a little embarrassing. You know, Kai also has one less game too. So, you know,
yeah.
And I'm talking this season specifically. That's not even counting at before. But
I'll be honest, I'm not picking either of these guys for my team. But with that said,
Exactly.
I would think Kai Kamara has.
Obviously, but you threw this out there, so we're debating it, right?
Kai Kamara is a good guy to have in your team as a backup.
I think legitimately, I think he's a good guy. Just seeing him around the guys and
we just talked about how he had 2 issues.
Yeah, okay, but I'm talking
where he
about
left because of issues.
That's management.
Moving on. We're moving on.
With managers, that's completely different than what you do with the team.
I know,
He could be misunderstood as well, but
yeah, come on, man.
I think
language barrier difference.
Stop. Okay, I'm moving on. I can't do this shit.
No. Genuinely though, you kind of you see it though, like because even with the guys, like even with the, like when he's on the fire, like all they just look like they click. It's a little different. Like I don't think he's one of those guys that is like he just seems like a genuinely good person. Just from what I've seen. I could be wrong.
Let's ask the other 8 clubs that he was a member of, and then we'll find out. All right, I don't know.
Let's survey it.
Yeah, let's survey.
We need a documentary. Kai Kamara, 10 reasons why. That's what I want.
It could be a full series. That's how crazy that is. All right, moving on. Number six. Robbie.
Boo. Boo. Boo.
Robbie Keane. What is there not to say about Robbie Keane? Look, I'm not, as an Arsenal fan, AJ and I will go on record and say, like, look, yeah, we don't appreciate his time in Europe for the most part. But with an LA Galaxy team that, again, we talked about a little bit with Zlatan, not as sexy playing wise as they looked on paper, which Cheyenne made that very clear. Decent team, but not anything great. I think he carried. I think you can talk about Zlatan, he hit prolific goals, but Robbie was
from Beckham, Keane, Donovan. He was the guy. I can admit that, and I still hate him.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why you hate him so much.
It's because he was good. Like, dude, he just always would score against Seattle. He thought he was hard as fuck. Like, yeah, I'm scoring against these Seattle Sounders, laddies. And
is that how they sound? Yeah. Bro, you just pissed off somebody who's watching this show, right?
The whole European contingency just got all pissed.
Yeah, they just stopped watching.
Y'all clicked off already, bro. Thank you,
dude. I didn't even know we had European fans.
Right.
Has broken the century mark in goals scored while in MLS, and is the 17th highest goal scorer all time in the short amount of time that he kind of was here. He scored at a faster rate than just about any striker on this list, outside of maybe like Joseph Martinez, we'll get to later. But like, I mean, an insane scoring rate, considering the superstars he already kind of had around him and had already played in this league. Who had him the lowest here? Robbie Keane. I mean, AJ, how he had him the lowest. Is that European bias, AJ, or do you really think he's not that good?
No, I think he's really good, but it's a little bit of European bias, probably. little salty about him. So
John had him the highest. Dude, hey, AJ, where'd you have him? You have him at 8 or 9?
9th, I think. 9th.
I actually don't think I even put him on my list, but that's for obvious reasons.
Dude, that's shameful, bro.
Biased.
That is
Biased.
so fucking
Biased
shameful,
and
bro.
shameful.
Do I
You
look like
can't
I
let
give
that
a
get in the way of how you rank players. You got to be
Do I look like I
unbiased.
give a damn?
This
Oh
guy's
my
putting his
God.
personal favorite players in number 10. What do you expect?
He literally wearing a shirt that says "Soccer is light," but clearly not. If you're gonna just let
That's
your
fun.
bias come
Funnily
through.
enough, this is another reason why I don't like Robbie Keane. 2014, Robbie Keane won the MVP award. That should have been the year Obafemi Martins won it.
Oh
That
my
should have been the
God.
year.
Back to the Martins point.
No,
Here we
no,
go.
I'm just no. It's nothing to do with that. Just adds to why I also dislike Keane because I feel like he didn't deserve the MVP award that year.
Where did he finish scoring wise? I mean, because Obama had what 17, 18 goals. Where did
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure Robbie
I
broke
think
20.
he had a couple more. I think he had a couple more.
I'm pretty sure he broke 20. And I think he consistently broke that mark in terms of being an MLS. And this was imagine Robbie Keane at a younger age. In
I
this
think
league.
though combined goals and assists, Oba had more than him though. I think.
No, Keane's 17 all time. Obama Martins is like not 17th. He's like 30, 40 or something like that. I don't know.
Huh?
He's in that range.
To his point, he only scored 19.
Yeah, it was
That
only
year,
a couple more.
that year.
Yeah, the year that he's talking about, he only scored 19.
Yeah,
No,
I think combined
19
goals and
assists.
assists, Oba had more.
What's his
think.
best? What's Keane's best season? Do we know that?
2015? 20
the year
goals,
after.
two assists.
Okay, so consistently right around that mark. I mean,
No, I know. I was just talking about 2014, but that's just past.
that's fair. That's fair. It's all good. I think honestly he has like a slight argument to be one of the more clinical strikers in this list, and I would say like if it wasn't for
think-
certain records, he would be higher.
I think I know this is something I always go back on, but I also think there's like this American bias too. I know that he came from Europe and whatnot, but like, let's say if Robbie Keane was American and did what he did, I think things would have been a different perspective. But I will say from all the strikers we're going to talk about today, he is probably I don't know how to explain it, but he was the guy that will win you MLS Cup. He was the striker out of all the ones we're going to mention. I don't know, man. Robbie Keane was just
Out of all the ones we're going to mention coming after this,
yes.
I think
The
there's one
most
guy you're missing. I don't think that's his
clutch?
fault, though.
I don't know but to drag his team to getting to an MLS Cup final, because there were some years where like 2014 Galaxy were really kind of cutting it close. 2012, I think they were kind of cutting it close. And I think because of Keane, he just always was so big for them. He was always such a big player in the important times. Him and Donovan. I think Beckham definitely ghosted a lot.
I mean, he was there to sign autographs, if we're being honest. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll go through the rest of this list and we'll see.
Yeah, there's some guys on this list that
that
exactly.
are clutch, I think, and that's the only word that I could think of to describe what you're talking about.
I don't know how to explain it. I'll see if it hits me. I'll just yeah.
That's all right. We'll get into it. All right, number 6, Robbie Keane. I don't think anybody can be mad about the shout. He was in just about everybody's list. There's a couple that had him off. Overall, I think if you watched MLS in the last 10, 15 years, you know how clinical he was. If you watch European football, you know how clinical he was. All right, number five, kind of an old school pick. Jaime Moreno, and I feel like in the underrated list, if you guys haven't seen that episode, go check it out. The underrated list in episode 7, he's probably one of the most underrated players of all time, just because of the fact that most people didn't know what Major League Soccer was when he was playing. The OG of it all, had probably kept the record, I would say, in terms of top scorer in the league for the longest period of time. Now he's number 4 behind Kai Kamara, Lando, and Wando. So I think overall this is a good shout, but he could be higher, in my opinion. With all the scoring records that he has, he for the time that he was around, he could be higher. John had him the lowest. I think I probably had him the highest. To me, he was in top 4. But I also watched Jaime Moreno play. There weren't too many Hispanics back in the day that were really doing it like he was. So I did watch him play, and I got a little bit of a soft spot for him. But holy shit, John, you had him like at 9th, bro.
I mean, I just didn't watch him play. I know he had longevity. I just didn't watch him play, so I don't know much about him. I just know he was a good player. I just didn't. There's no knowledge of it, for me. That's why he's on my personal list. So
I mean, he scored at a faster rate than most players. Every couple hundred minutes, he was scoring a goal. He had nearly 150 goals in total, and he played for the OG DC United teams that ran MLS for the first half decade. So, I think all in all, he's a good shout. I had him the highest, like I said, in my top 4. AJ had him up there too. Ednon had him right in the middle of the pack. So Xiaoyan didn't even fucking include him. I don't know what he's doing right now, but he didn't even include him. But you know, he had Obama Fee Martins, which fucking makes sense, I guess. So you know, at the end of the day, bro, you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. To me, it's mind blowing that he forgot to include this fucking dude on his list. But Jaime Moreno, boys, Jaime Moreno, that is our number 5. Anybody hate that pick, by the way? I'm just kind of curious because he is like the last like OG that's really left in here.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either.
Like I said, I mean,
Yeah,
like I said,
he's probably where he
I would have
was.
probably put him higher had I been able to watch him, but
Yeah.
I just wasn't able to. So
Yeah, no, it's fair, bro. It's fair. It is what it is. All right, let's move on. Number 4. I love this pick. Bradley Wright Phillips. I guarantee for those who are watching and know who this player is, and you remember him from the Red Bulls, you probably forget that he was like a Manchester City player, that he played for Southampton, he played for Brentford.
Originally, he was the little brother. Like he was the one in his brother's shadows.
Yeah, Sean Wright Phillips, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and dude, I mean, talk about players that they had different playing styles. I think his brother was a crazy fast little winger. I loved watching him play. The guy was lightning. He reminded me a lot of like, again, I'm not a Spurs guy by any means. I'm an Arsenal guy, but I remember watching Aaron Lennon play, and you know, it just reminded me of that a little
Or
bit.
Andres Townsend or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just like lightning on the pitch. And with Bradley, it was more of the striker. It was more of the finisher. He paired really, really well with Thierry Henry.
He was a little heel to heel click.
Yeah. Who had him the highest? John had him the highest, but guys, by like one spot. We all had him like right in this area, top 4, top 5.
I like BWP. I was a big fan of him. Pretty unfortunate he never won an MLS Cup, but
his commentary on Apple TV is kind of trash. But like outside of that, like, he was pretty damn good, bro. Bradley Wright Phillips. I mean, this was what? Is this the one era that the Red Bulls were good?
No, they were good. Well, they were good before too with Henry. BWP was near the tail end of Henry, I believe. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's true.
They were still
all
good.
time.
I think it was like Henry like started the upwards trend, and then BWP was a part of it. He kind of kept it a bit, but there was a bit of a downslope afterwards.
What do we consider his position, really quick? I wouldn't call him a true striker, in my opinion.
Really?
I mean, probably a center forward.
Yeah, like
you know,
like if I were to make a formation, he would be right behind the striker.
Right.
Yeah, like a shadow striker type of thing, kind of.
Yeah.
You
don't think so?
No, I'm just I don't know. I can't.
You think he's a true 9?
No. I just can't remember. Like, because I wasn't watching when I first started watching MLS. Like, I didn't tactically think like that or look at it like that. So that's probably why. I just thought he's always scored goals, and he always do his little heel to heel click. And I was like, dude, this guy's kind of good. Like, I like this dude.
Yeah, he was above in the all-time list. The only players that are above him: Wando, Lando, Kai Kamara, Jaime Moreno.
I think also was part of
Stephanie.
the original record of most goals in a single season before I think Vela. Like, he was part of that group. It was him, Wando. I don't remember who the OG guy was that was in that list, but he was one of the few in that best single
John
season.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wanted to just quickly say something. I know I didn't include the last guy, and I heard everything that happened.
Yeah.
I never watched them play, so I don't know what to tell you.
That's mind blowing, bro. That's like so much.
Okay, it's like me saying,
We
"Oh,
were
Pele's
young
the
back
goat."
then, though. Come on.
I know. I was like, dude, it's like saying, "Oh, Pele's the goat." Did you ever watch Pele play? No. Then
Yeah, but I guarantee you, people had Pele in their top 5 list. I'll tell you that shit. I
Yeah.
guarantee he was there.
You're not gonna exactly. Right, you're not gonna leave out Pele or Maradona, like
it's called respect, Sean.
and it's not like
Martins.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I have respect for myself that I'm not going to
Femi
put him because I never saw him play.
Oh my god. Okay, we moved on past that.
I know.
pick.
I'm just letting you guys know. I just wanted to put that out there. I understand. I know. I bet he was a really good player, but I just never watched him play. So the proof is in the pudding.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Bradley Wright Phillips, boys. I don't think anybody should be mad about this pick. I think he is top 5 all time, or should be anyway. I think had he played longer in the MLS, he easily would be in terms of numbers of goals. He broke 130, and he had this like 5-season stretch where he averaged 20 plus goals for like 5 seasons in a row. I mean, that's literally insane, bro. I mean, to have that kind of consistency for a team that just doesn't really have any history. Pretty badass if you ask me. So I like that pick. Bradley Wright Phillips at number 4. All right.
And plus legendary lineage as well.
Legendary lineage. Yeah, 100%. That definitely helps. Number 3. Let's just call him what he is, bro. He's AJ's boy. Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Martinez. And I'm gonna
only
put up
number 3.
Only number 3.
I would argue BWP should be higher than him.
Really? That's actually an interesting pick. Why?
I would say it's because of just how much Joseph has fallen off these like BWP was so consistent, but like with Joseph, it was like more of a vroom, vroom.
Like
Like,
an
I don't
ACL
know.
injury, man. How are you gonna do about that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you mean?
You
Just
can't. It's an ACL injury. What are you gonna do about
Dude,
that?
there's plenty of players that
Granted, it could be Atlanta's fault. They should stop playing on turf. That's the number one thing that they should do. Stop
But,
playing
okay,
on turf
but
and players won't get injured.
I know, but I'm not gonna.
It's not his
I don't
fault.
give a shit that he got an ACL injury. Plenty of players have gone it. Plenty of players have come back stronger. That's not the point.
So,
that's not what I'm not
okay,
here to do any doctor work here.
Yeah, sure. And there's also this. It's like there's wear and tear and whatnot, but he got injured in Nashville, which is grass. So yeah, that's
Fair.
not
Fair.
the argument for
But
that.
hey, you're building up that wear and tear on the turf.
That
so
wear
I'm
on
just- I'm just saying.
Dude,
He's
Dr.
saying,
John
yeah,
on the case.
That was the hump that broke the
I'm just
camel's back,
saying,
you know
hey,
what I mean?
turf.
Like, that's
hey,
what it
turf,
was.
We gotta get rid of it, man. We gotta get rid of the turf, man.
Yeah.
I would. The thing is, for me, what taints things with Joseph, and I'll let AJ have the floor after this.
Sure.
It's kind of similar to what I said with Rui Diaz. Is I just think things have just fallen off so much of a cliff for me. I just can't consider him in a top 3 for me. Like when I think of greatest strikers, I think of a lot more consistency. But one thing that I'll give Joseph over BWP as an MLS Cup. That is a big thing, and he was a
for
key
sure.
role.
And he scored, and he was the MVP, and then plus he was the league MVP. But I think it's also this. It's like, okay, the fact that he's on this list and he had like 5 really good years, and his last 6th and 7th year, pretty garbage. But yeah, the fact that he's this high speaks to how good those years were, and those years were record breaking.
But the thing is, though, he never reached a season like BWP ever had, though.
How's that?
I mean, look at all. We can compare that. I think
Because
Bradley Wright Phillips' best seasons 27, 24, and 20 were probably like his best goal tallying seasons. And those years, the Red Bulls were pretty unstoppable, at least, in respect to the East. But Joseph Martinez was scoring at a rate that we really haven't seen. He was the fastest to hit the century mark. He had 3 seasons before he tore his ACL where he was virtually unstoppable, 19, 27, and 31. It's a really, really close argument. Like of all strikers,
maybe it's preference.
It could be preference of all strikers, again, who have at least 100 plus appearances. It's not even close. Like Joseph Martinez has gotten to that mark faster than literally anybody.
This is another part of the argument I'll add is if Joseph was on the Red Bulls team that BWP was on, I don't think he would have done it as much as if BWP was on the Atlanta team that Joseph was on. If you get what I mean. If the roles were switched.
Way different profiles, though. And it's one of those things where, yeah, BWP would not have worked on those LA United teams. Just
I think he would have. I think he would have put up the same, if not better, numbers than Joseph would have.
I think they could play together, in my opinion. When I watch them play, I feel like they could play alongside each other. I think that they offer different, like just varying skill sets. I think Joseph is still technically like a center forward, but I would consider him more of a true striker than Bradley Wright Phillips, 100%.
Yeah, and to be fair, like when Bradley Wright Phillips signed for LAFC, I wanted LA United to sign BWP at that point because, yeah, that would have been probably our best backup striker ever. But yeah, it's. I mean, the both of them. Oh yeah, they would have cooked. But yeah, it's this. It's like, okay, I don't know who's I can guess who's the top of this list, but I think in that small amount of impact, and let's be fair, his career's not over. Like, yes, it might look like it's over.
He's playing like it's
But-
over.
Yeah, but
I mean, he's still
it's one of
scoring
those things.
technically.
Exactly, and so
He's
it's
got
like
Messi with him now.
these-
He's got
Yeah,
Messi with him now.
Messi's
So
definitely bailing.
Messi could make him look a lot better.
That is
Yeah.
what he does, but he still scored nonetheless.
That's
Right.
true.
And yeah, he might not be long for Inter Miami either or this league, but I think these really just incredible 5 years. I mean, I just kind of outweighs a lot of these players. So I think, yeah, he should probably be 2, depending on who it is, but we'll find out, I guess.
Let's see. Hold on. So Joseph Martinez, who had him the highest? AJ, of course. But after that, John had him pretty high. I had him 5th after that. I don't know. I think like I had him 5th is because I do respect some of the nostalgic picks that we've talked about here today. And because longevity, if man, you just wonder how prolific Joseph could be if he never got hurt. Like longevity is kind of a thing. He had 3 insane years, arguably 4, and then boom, it crapped out on him. So it's just one of those things where it kind of works against him. But if I'm picking a striker at their height, dude, it's Joseph Martinez is scary. It's like
Marins.
It's like shut up. It's like the Luis. It's like the Luis Suarez pick like for nostalgic reasons in the Premier League, right? Like he didn't have like a ton of good years, but his one crazy season, right, or 2 or 3 crazy seasons for Liverpool feel like Joseph Martinez for Atlanta. Like I don't think any team was stopping him. Like he was scoring at a crazy rate. So I can see the 2 shout. 2 is not a bad shout. All right, boys. Speaking of number 2, let's get into it. I'm curious, what order do you think they're going to go in? Because we could probably all guess who these last 2 guys are. I mean,
Wanda won. Wanda's got to be
Wanda's
one.
one, probably. Yeah.
Wanda's got to be one.
I don't even know who the other option is.
Okay, let's move on. All right, number 2, Landon.
Oh, I forgot about this guy.
Yep.
The disrespect. The disrespect. The MVP trophy literally named after him.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Landon Donovan. What is there to say about Landon Donovan other than the fact that he's
an MLS merchant?
Yes,
Facts.
MLS merchant, has never been successful when moving, overseas in any way, shape, or form. But did hold the record the longest in terms of the top scorer in the league. It took Wando about 40 plus appearances more to break that record, and to this day, it's only by 4 goals. It's 174.
But dude, you gotta okay. But the team Wando played on compared to the teams Donovan has played on.
Okay, but that doesn't matter when flat out Donovan's just a better baller than Wando. I don't care what anybody says. He's just a better attacker and a better player.
I mean, yes, technically wise, but the teams that Wando has played on compared to Donovan, dude, Wando I think would have had so many more goals if he was on that. Dude, Wando played
really, because that miss against Belgium speaks differently.
That
has
had to
no
go.
relevance to this.
Come
That
on,
had to go.
come on.
That has no relevance. If anything, Wando did the USA a solid. Like that was a good.
Oh my god, bro! There are still USMNT fans pissed about that shit to this day.
I know, but he did the USA fans a solid, dude. Like USA, they didn't even deserve to win that game. Let's keep it 100 here.
He started the snowball that led to that team not qualifying for the next World Cup.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. He did the nation a solid. Good for him.
Look, national team aside, I would pick Landon Donovan over Wondolowski every day of the week. There's not a scenario. Look, put their personality aside or whatever. You might not like who he is as a person. As a player, that guy could play anywhere in the front line. Anywhere.
100%.
Wando clear of Dono.
Let's see. Erdan and I think were the only ones to have Landon as number 1. Yeah, man. I think he's a better player. It took Wando 40 more appearances to get 4 more goals than Lando. You can argue that that's why he's stuck around.
There's a reason why Wando's a San Jose legend and why San Jose fans hate Donovan. Donovan's a snake. Wando's a legend. He's an icon. Donovan, he's just a money, glory hunting merchant. That's all I gotta say.
That bangs it into the back of the net, bro.
Very true. Very true. And has
not as
more
many
MVPs
times
than
as
most.
Wondolowski. That's all I gotta say. And he came out of retirement to try to fix that. Donovan had to come out of retirement, take on that number 26 jersey.
Everton legend, bro. Everton
Donovan
legend. There's a
scores in World
tifo with
Cup.
him on it, bro. There's a tifo with him on it.
Donovan
sorry.
scores in World Cups.
What's
That is true.
What's that one infamous picture of Landon Donovan holding up that Mexico thing where it said like
Oh,
Mexico's my
yeah.
second team?
Yeah.
Did he play for your?
Uh-huh.
Did he play for your team?
Yeah, he did, but he only played like 2 games. Motherfucker sucked. Like what?
He played for
Got kicked out
Everton.
right away.
He played for Bayern Munich. Technically, right? He played.
Leverkusen.
Yeah,
Played for
Leverkusen.
Leon, right?
Yeah, that's
Leon,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. He
There
played
was
for
more-
Leon.
there was
Didn't
more
do
than a
shit. He
few.
played 2 games. Like what?
Hey, bro, but still got him on the resume. Still got him on the resume. Kai Kamara has 10 fucking MLS clubs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but at least Kai Kamara scored for all those 10 clubs. What did Donovan do?
Dude, why are you dragging Kai Kamara's name in the mud, bro?
Hey, look,
Talented
he's
is
just gotta,
everything, Xiao Yang.
he's gotta drag the fire down the mud. You know, we're already going through it. He's just gotta make sure
You
he's
guys
going
are
in on
digging
it
your
more.
own grave. I don't have to sit here and drag the fire through anything. They got enough going on all by themselves. All I'm saying is that, like, and you're not the only club to represent Kai Kamara. You know, there's 9 others just like you. I think, you know, with Landon, he's good. Captain America before Pulisic came along. I think everybody should
No,
have
Clint
had
Dempsey's Captain America. Let's hold it up.
Facts.
him. Is he?
Yes,
I
facts.
would,
No,
I would
he's
say
not.
Clint.
Clint
I would
Dempsey
say
is the
Clint Dempsey.
embodiment.
I
of
would
Captain
rather
America.
play for Clint as a captain. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Clint wouldn't want to
easily,
be
hands down.
Captain America. He's more like a
He
Batman.
is
kinda
Captain
guy.
America. Clint
Yeah,
Dempsey
he's more like a
is-
Batman, bro. He's Captain America doesn't freestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the same thing. Bro. Like,
You don't know where I'm
Jose,
from,
you're just
dog.
grabbing
You don't know
from
where I'm
space.
from, dog.
Clubs outside of
You
the
don't know where
U.S.
I'm
and not
from,
scoring
dog.
goals. Facts.
there's
That
no
dude,
way. There's no way we're not going to say that while Landon Donovan was playing for the national team that he wasn't Captain
Donovan is
America.
not the greatest striker in MLS history. Donovan's not the greatest USMNT player in history. Donovan's just Donovan.
I would say by when it's said and done, Pulisic will have done more for the U.S. than Donovan.
And either way, Dempsey's still clear of Donovan, so that doesn't
They're
change
different.
anything.
They're different generations. I mean,
And different
well,
players. Dempsey doesn't play the
yeah.
same position as Landon Donovan. They played on a team on the starting 11 together several times for many
They're-
years.
That's great. And
there
Dempsey
might-
clear.
there might have not have been a Pulisic if there was not a Donovan.
There
Yeah,
might not have been a
fair.
no, wait, no,
Fair.
no. There would not have been a Pulisic if there wasn't a Clint Dempsey, because Dempsey showed Pulisic how to be successful in Europe.
No, the only one that showed up Donovan in any way, shape, or form. The only one, and first off,
Walks
Pulisic has
off
done nothing
into
in
that.
Europe, so that whole comparison is like wild to me. He has 3 good games at AC Milan, a shit stint at Chelsea, and we're calling him the LeBron.
Hey,
James
but he
of
did
I'm
MLS.
shit
just
at
kidding,
Dortmund.
I
At
know.
least,
I'm-
at least he did shit in Germany.
Okay,
What
sorry.
the fuck
I
did
mean,
Donovan
Pulisic
do?
has done more in
That's
Europe
fair,
than
that's
Donovan
fair.
ever has. Let's keep it 100. I'm not saying it's a lot, but he has.
Fine. All I'll say is that Donovan has bigger clubs on his resume. Just saying, bro.
100%.
Does he?
I mean, Bayern's pretty fucking big, bro.
I guess
Bayern's,
that's true.
Bayern's
Bayern's
pretty
pretty
big.
fucking big
But
too.
yeah, but Bayern's bigger than Chelsea.
But
that's for sure.
but
Yeah, they are.
but-
They're bigger than
Whoa,
Chelsea.
whoa!
Yo, no, that's
Whoa,
100%
whoa,
They're
whoa,
definitely bigger than
whoa,
Chelsea. There's
whoa.
no way you're gonna tell me Bayern Munich's legacy is not to
No.
to
It
the same
is.
of Chelsea.
It is bigger.
Dude, the arena is named
count Champions
Drogba
League, bro.
Stadium
Like-
after his shitting on them in 2012. You know what I just realized too? I didn't have my virtual background on the whole time.
It is what it is, bro.
Yes.
At this point, Xiao Yan, you're the wild card of this show. I don't think anybody's surprised. Look, I think at the end of the day, Donovan's a good shout, and I don't care what anybody says. Nobody was saying Clint Dempsey was Captain America when they were playing together. It was always Donovan.
100%.
Psych, you thought.
Okay. All right. Anyway, moving on. Number 1, we all know who it is. It's a shame that he played for the Quakes as long as he did, because he probably could have played at a number of different clubs and really been successful. Chris Wondolowski had to play an extra 40 appearances to beat Donovan, but he did it. He is the all-time leading MLS goal scorer. How many of you are actually building a team around Chris Wondolowski?
Right now?
Like if you had to build an MLS best 11, right? Is he going to be the striker you pick?
I would say.
I would
yes,
pick
but that's-
Obafemi Martin, so that's just
Oh
me.
my
No,
God,
fuck
bro.
you.
We're not doing
Enough.
that.
Enough.
Hey, it's not like you wouldn't pick Jerussi.
I think
If you say yes, Ednon, I'm walking. I'm
I
leaving
didn't
this
say
show,
yes.
bro.
I'd say Wondolowski.
He said yes.
A
He just said
good
yes.
shout.
What is blood waffling about? I saw his head. He's like,
You would take him over Driussi.
What is blood
You would take him over.
waffling about?
You would no. I'm saying he would take Driussi over Obafemi Martin. Who wouldn't? I would.
100%.
dude, that's dude.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what's
fair.
crazy too is Obafemi Martins has won more trophies than the
Why are we
Chicago
still
Fire
on
have
this
in the last 10
topic?
years.
I don't know.
Dude,
I don't
he
know.
Was 10,
Xiao
he
Yan
was
keeps
9
coming
picks
back
ago,
to it,
bro.
bro. I
He
have
was
no
9
idea.
picks ago.
I will win.
No, you won't. Driussi was a better in an individual season. most people would take Driussi over Obama F. Martins. I don't.
100%.
If you put him in that
100%.
Seattle team, he's balling.
To be
100%.
fair, this is worse than my agenda with Gaga than the other episode, dude. It's worse.
I don't know.
than
That was pretty bad. We're
No,
not
that
talking
was
about
pretty
now.
wild.
That
It was a
was
fair
wild.
agenda. It was a fair
Wild
agenda.
accusations that were said in that one. And if anybody wants to go see that one, Tim Howard should be criminally offended. With that said, Wando was the same for everybody in this list. And like I said, outside of me, Ednan, everybody else voted him number one. Is it just the record? Because I really don't think you guys would actually pick him in your best 11.
I think
He's
for
just a
what
goal
Wando
scorer.
did for San Jose, we're
It's
talking the
mostly the
San
record,
Jose
yeah.
Earthquakes. Okay, well, I guess AJ said it bluntly, but yeah,
who've
pretty
been
much.
garbage for a very long time. Yeah,
But still,
it's that. It's like basically, if he doesn't have the record, I mean, he's largely a poacher. He's largely a poacher. I mean, it's a guy
but
that-
Belgium.
yeah,
Belgium.
Dude, that has
he's
no
basically
relevance to this.
a
No
record-setting
relevance.
Talk about
chicharito.
MLS.
Yeah, keep a lid on it, bro.
It was such a bad miss. There's no way a striker that good is clearly the number
Dude, it
one
happens,
and ever played this league.
bro. It happens.
Donovan
He
would have made
wins-
that. Donovan would have
Dude.
made that.
Bro,
Donovan would've made
what?
that.
Okay, yeah, then why didn't Donovan get called up at that World
Because
Cup?
somehow
Oh, yeah.
Klinsman thinks Julian Green's fucking
he's
better than Landon
booty.
Donovan.
He's
Who actually
booty.
thinks that, bro?
Booty.
Where is Julian Green today?
That's a good call.
Hey, he was at
Was that
Bayern.
wrong?
He was at Bayern at the time. So
Yeah,
but
but
so
hey,
is
big
Donovan.
club,
We're not
big
doing that.
club,
He has as
big
much
club.
relevance as
He's
Bayern
talking about
as
big
Donovan
clubs,
does,
right?
bro. We're not doing
He's
this.
talking
We're not
about big
doing this. We're not
clubs.
doing
What
this.
the biggest
I
club?
still can't believe he picked Julian Green over Landon Donovan. That's crazy, bro. That actually blows my mind. That's an agenda. That's an agenda against the player. But anyway,
Dude, Landon Donovan's mid, bro. Especially back then. Mid, bro. Mid.
it's called the Landon Donovan MVP trophy. It's all
That's awesome. It should be called the Preki MVP trophy because Preki's won it more times than Donovan has. That's the crazy part.
Look, man. Look, Wando number one. I
It's
don't-
easy. Done.
It's the least
Case
sexy
closed.
pick of all time. It's the least sexy pick of all time.
That's fine. It doesn't always have to be
it
sexy.
doesn't mean it has to be. It does.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, who are you going to pick? A striker that gets you goals in the league that you wanted that you're representing? Yeah, I'm gonna pick him.
Just he's not that athletic. He's not super clinical. Like he knows how to sniff out the net. I guess he's got that fox in the box mentality a little bit. I'm not sold. I would take Joseph Martinez over Wondolowski all day.
Okay,
All
would
day.
you take? Would you? Some guy that didn't make the list, but would you take Charito over Wando? Similar sort of.
Yes,
Dude, that's okay. Dude, John's got you in a corner.
that's a
then.
great comparison. I would take Chicharito. 100%.
Fascinating.
100% over
That's
Chris
interesting.
Wondolowski.
That's interesting.
Easily.
That's very
Dude,
interesting.
He didn't even start. He came off the bench in the Premier League for Manchester United, pumped in nearly 20 goals in this
You
season.
could
but
say
You're telling me
could
he's
say
not balling at San Jose?
you could say at Madrid he also balled. At Madrid, and for being on the bench,
he scored.
we could
he scored
argue-
goals.
for being
That
at the
was a ball.
for being on the
But I
bench.
thought this
could
was
argue-
MLS.
We could argue Wando might be the
Why
That's
why
true,
are
that's
y'all
true.
talking about EPL in Europe when we're talking about MLS best strikers?
Look, man, I think how old is he? 34, 35. And had he stayed healthy, I like him. Based on the eye test, I like what he offers more than Chris Wondolowski. I just do. I don't really like much about Wando's game, if we're being honest.
I was just interested to throw that out there because I think that those are two players
similar.
that are
Yeah.
very similar in terms of their play style. So
I would take Robbie Keane over Wondolowski.
Mhm.
I would take.
I mean,
yeah,
There's a lot of players on this
but that's
list,
like a
man.
different. That's like a
But the-
different.
It's a longevity thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're putting all of our stock in that then to close
Like
this
it's
out.
It's
100%.
kind of like how I said for me, I think Oba's one of the greatest strikers
Oh
I've
my
ever
God.
seen.
We're back to
I'm
this.
sorry.
I'm so
Guys,
sick
last
of this,
time,
bro.
Last
Like,
time, last time.
Dino's
It's
up.
like me saying that Obafemi Martins is the greatest striker I've ever seen, but Wondolowski is the greatest striker in regards to stats and actually putting in like the skill wise and actually being like a great player is a little bit different than actually being the greatest one. I don't know how to explain it. My words are kind of getting a little.
You know who I compare this to, AJ? I compare Wondolowski, like watching him to like watching Olivier Giroud play. It's like he'll
Oh, that's
score. He'll
okay.
score. No, he'll
Yeah,
score.
but-
He'll score, and he has some of the accolades, like the third highest goal scorer in
Ooh.
France's illustrious history.
You can't.
Yeah.
He's got like
Pause.
the goals,
Yeah.
but the eye test, you're like, dude, I can't stand.
No,
watching
I
this
think
guy.
I gotta hold.
Yeah,
you
we
for
gotta
a
put a
second.
lid on
I gotta
this
put.
thing.
I gotta hold. you
It's
for
a little
second.
bit
There's no way
different.
You compare Giroud to Wando. Like Giroud had amazing goals. He's France's top goal scorer.
He
You
even won
cannot
a
compare them.
And yet he's
Puskas.
never picked by any fan or pundit or creator for a best
But
11
listen.
ever. It was at Montpellier, at Arsenal, at AC Milan. None of
He
it.
he had moments, and he had good moments, and the goals that he scored, you cannot compare that to Wando.
All I'm saying
Wando
is
will poach him. You got
Right,
Giroud
but I've said
over
this,
here
and
doing scorpion
I'll
goals.
say it
Come on.
again. It's this. Yeah, but okay, that's the thing. I get what Jose is saying here is that, like, Giroud, when you look at his highlight reel, he looks like the best player ever because there are some crazy fucking goals in there. But when you actually look at like the eye test and watch him play games, okay, yes, he is a really good player that combines well, links up the play, but he doesn't score enough. He doesn't actually do enough to actually be a top striker.
I just can't believe
I'm
terms
never
of,
that scared of
someone
them.
that you
I'll
pick
just
to build a
flat out
team
say it.
around.
I'm never scared of
And-
them, like playing them.
who.
Giroud, Wondolowski,
Oh,
those
No,
types
I
of
was
strikers. I'm
back
never
in
that scared of them.
Back in 2012, every team was scared to go up against that San Jose Earthquake.
That's the
team.
only season he broke 20 goals. Just so you're aware, it's the only season he broke 20. Was in
But you're
2012.
saying you would never be scared of going up against Wando. In 2012, I was scared shitless of going up against Wando.
Dude, the drop off from that season to any other season he had in history, fine. We want to bank it off of one great season he had in his history, but he never broke 20 goals after that, like ever. The closest he ever got was 18, and it was a couple seasons before that. Like, I don't know, man. Wando to me is like, he's got the longevity. He's been performing okay for a long enough period of time, but there are plenty of players, arguably almost every player on this list, that I would take over Chris Wondolowski.
That's crazy.
I know,
I'm gonna
ball.
leave it at that. I'm gonna rest my case. I'm gonna leave it at that.
except for Oba.
Except for yeah. I don't know about Oba. That's kind of a wild pick.
I'm not gonna leave it
All
at
right,
that.
boys. That was our list. Just to kind of wrap
I'm
this
just
up,
fucking with it.
these 10 that we picked, by the way, were picked over some of the likes of Sebastian Giovinco, Thierry Henry, Raul Rui Diaz, Carlos Vela, Brian Ching, Giassi Zardes, Taylor Twellman, Brian McBride,
Nah,
David
dude,
Villa,
fuck
and Jeff
Taylor
Cunningham.
Twellman, dude. I don't like that he's even in the shouts. I'm sorry.
But why? Because of his media personality, or because of him as a player? Because as a
No,
player, he
him
was
as a
pretty damn
player.
good.
Him as I actually don't mind him as a pundit.
That's a wild take.
That is a wild take. I actually think it's the other way around, but that's fair. I think Revs fans will disagree with you. I think him and Brian Ching ran the league for like 2 or 3
Oh
seasons.
no, Brian Chink should have been in our top 10 list.
Yeah, I think that was a fantastic shout. Brian McBride has a little bit of an argument. Jeff Cunningham's top 5 all time, and nobody talks about that dude, like ever. He
Never
played for
watched
that
him
team.
play.
Yeah, he's MLS 1.0. But look, man, Obama Fee Martins over Rui Diaz is a wild take as a Sounders fan. I hope your fans let you have it for that. No Vela shouts at all today, boys. Like one
Good.
I
person picked
considered
Vela.
him a
Good.
winger. I would have put
Good.
him on, but I considered him a winger.
Good. Good.
I
Good.
had
Good.
him on. I had him
Anyway,
on.
all
I
right,
had him
boys.
on.
That's it, man. That's our top 10. I think, look, with this list, this is probably, I think personally, one of our best lists. Like one of our most fair. There was a decent amount of ball knowledge that went into this. The only outlandish pick to me really was
Obafemi
Martin.
Martins.
3 seasons with the Sounders that were pretty good, but the top 10 all time.
Don't rile them up again. Don't. I'm not trying to.
You got to live in Seattle to see it, I guess. I don't know. Hey, real quick before we go, Xiao Yan, we did.
No, but I gotta
our-
know, like, how high? How high was it?
how high on your list was Martin? Really quick.
How high did you have?
I think
Go
I had
ahead.
him at 3.
Oh no! Oh no!
No.
No wonder he made the list.
No.
That's why he
no.
made the list altogether.
Oh,
was because
no.
Martin's was a top 3 pick by yours truly. So, look, man, I think
Exit the building, bro.
I think, but besides that, this was actually a really, really solid list, and I'm not mad because it's 10. If it's any higher than that, Xiaoyan, we would have like a reshuffling or something. Something would have happened. I don't know what it would have been, but we would have figured that out. All in all, though, boys, pretty good list. Before we go, though, Xiaoyan, we did a badges episode, right? A couple episodes ago, I think it was episode 6. Seattle Sounders preparing to undergo a shift in their branding. Are you nervous, excited? Just really quick.
Not happy.
Come on, bro. That needle's trash.
No, it's not. I take a Space Needle over an Orca.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I haven't seen people have seen it. I don't work for the club, sadly, so I don't have any inside info what it looks like. I'm just not if it ain't broken, don't fix it. You don't need to change the badge. You don't need to change anything.
Where did we have Seattle on our tier list? It was like decently high, right? Like they were.
It was all right. We didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like the OG like Chicago Fire and Columbus Crew
Yeah.
logos. I think
Decently
Seattle
high.
Sounders logo is
Yeah.
still pretty high in our list for being one of the modern logos. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's September 26th, about 5 days from this recording. We're gonna see how that looks next time we all meet to record again. It could be some interesting. I don't know what Seattle's gonna do. There's so much they can actually pull from for inspiration. So
It's gonna be
we'll
a
see how it all
circular
goes
logo.
down. It's gonna be ugly. All right. Well, with that said, boys, that is it. This is Wake Up MLS episode 8, the top 10 strikers in MLS history. My name is Jose. That's John. That's Xiaoyan. That's AJ. That's Ednan. We'll catch you guys next time.